Hello, my name is Breno. I am from Brazil and I've been supporting Sunderland since 2013. How are the lads?
Oh, Sheesh gives it back to Roberts. Can he get his feet right? Yes! Paddy Roberts gets the equaliser for Sunderland!
Hello and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the Sunderland AFC International Fans Podcast. My name is Lee Thirkell, I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats, and today I'm joined by our normally weekend regular Justin Warner, but he's here midweek. He's in Toronto, Canada. Good afternoon, Justin.
Howdy, Lee.
Good, mate. And for the first time, we've got another debutant. We've got Robin Bond, who is part of the Czech Republic branch, and he's in Prague. Good evening, Robin.
Good evening. How are we?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. Right, so last night we got a last-ditch draw against Bristol City. Paddy Roberts popped up in the 93rd minute to get us a draw. We're going to get onto that in a moment, but Robin, as always, when we have a new guest on, we love to hear our international fans' Sunderland story. So would you like to share yours, please?
Oh, great. Thanks for inviting me to join. It's a pleasure. My name is Robin Bond. I'm a 60-year-old fan. As you mentioned, I'm living in Prague in the Czech Republic. Been here 16 years, but originally from Durham in the northeast of England. Been a fan as long as I can remember. In fact, I'm told that I was conceived as part of the Sunderland match or after a Sunderland match way back in 1964. Some of the older fans may remember the epic 3 matches against Man United in the FA Cup that season. But I believe it went to 2 replays. The first replay at Roker Park on the 4th of March, 1964. Ended up in a 2-2 draw after extra time. And my late mum told me that my late father, who was a Sunderland supporter, was at the match. Came back very excited. It was the match where there were reputedly between 75 and 120,000 fans either in and around the ground, if you remember. So he came back from that very excited, and I'm told that I was conceived that night. And the dates actually check out. It's actually 9 months and 4 days after the match that I was born. So I've got an older brother who's 10 years older than me. So I guess there were no kids planned. And then the match got my dad excited. And then I popped out maybe as a mistake or maybe as over enthusiasm after a Sunderland game. So needless to say, I've been a Sunderland fan since then. My older brother, 10 years older than me, obviously, he dragged me along to my first game in 1972, which was again an FA Cup game, another replay against Cardiff on the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. So you may say I fell in love with Sunderland that day.
Yeah.
Another draw. Bobby Kerr popped up with an equaliser late on. We'd already left the ground. And that theme continued through my life of watching Sunderland.
Oh, not an early leave,
yeah, that was yes, that was my first game, 1972. And I've been hooked from there on in.
Yeah.
I think you asked me in some of the stuff you sent, my favourite moment. It's got to be the 73 Cup final, although I wasn't there. My brother, again, 10 years old, I had a spare ticket, but my mum wouldn't let me go, and I never forgave her for that. So that's probably my best moment. In terms of the best being at a match, I've got to say it would be the playoff semi-final up at St James's Park in 1990. I was part of the Sunderland fans in the Leazes End that night. And that's got to be the best moment ever, I would say, watching the lads.
No, brilliant. And now you're part of you're the founder of the Czech Republic branch, right, in Prague. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, that came about. I came over here, I say, 16 years ago. I've moved about a couple of places, and the place I've settled in at the moment, we play a thing called nohi ball, which is a form of kind of head tennis on a Monday and Thursday evening. And going along, got cracking on to some of the lads along there, and I always turned up in a Sunderland shirt, as you do. The lads very interested. And long story short, we kind of got to a point where we had 10, 12, 14 lads who were wanting to come over to a match.
Mm.
So we've now been over 6 or 7 times, and I think the last time we brought 17 guys over to the match.
Brilliant.
So I've got 2 villages with guys running about in red and white shirts, which is absolutely fantastic. So that was kind of the formation of the branch.
Have they got Chalutsko on the back?
Sorry, say that again.
Have they got Andrei Chalutsko on the back? Because he was from Czech Republic, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He was. No, they haven't. They run about with all sorts of new names on. And a very funny story. We've actually got a Newcastle supporter who lives in the same village, and he's absolutely spitting feathers the fact that I've converted half of the village to support Sunderland. So he's not very happy at all.
Well, it's the same with the Mags here, isn't it? Because the Mags think they own Bilbao.
Exactly. So on the back of that, we formed we set up a Facebook page, and that's really exploded. We've got almost 600 members on there now, and that's a combination of lads from here, but mainly made up of guys that I know from following Sunderland, back through the years that I've been going home and away. It's I would say a very mature branch or mature page. The banter on there is really good.
Yeah, I only recently joined, and I did kind of join in with the banter. I thought it was really good. You do the man of the match, sponsored by Dave Wright's Caricatures.
That's right. Yeah.
No, so I think it's all good banter. And
Yeah.
your next trip to come over, Robin, is it end of the season? You normally say. I think is that right?
Yeah, we normally get over kind of towards March, April time. I think probably I've got a wedding back in May, so I might try and get back for the last game of the season. Depends on what's riding on the last game. So sometime early to the end of the season, early next year to the end of the season, I'll be over again. Hopefully with another 15 or 16 lads with me.
Yeah, no, it was great, and it was great to see last weekend that there was loads of international fans there. There was the 5 Italian lads. There was Martin, I think Justin from the NASA branch in Canada. There was a group of Maltese lads, I think, as well, from about 15 Maltese people. There were some fans from Feyenoord in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And there was supposed to be 20 Irish guys going over, but the flight got cancelled from Dublin on Saturday morning because of the weather.
Because of the storm, yeah.
Yeah, so no, like the international branches is getting healthier all the time. But Robin, thanks a lot for that. Brilliant stories, mate. Right then, Justin, last night then, 1-1. No Luke O'Nien. He missed out, obviously, because he was ill. There was rumours that he looked ill after the match. People said that he didn't look very well. Labrise confirmed it. Paddy Roberts was also ill, but he made the bench. Do you think we missed O'Nien last night, Justin?
Yeah, I think certainly. Without a shadow of doubt. I mean, we didn't look as comfortable bringing the ball out of defence as we have done in previous games. And I mean, I think on the other side, I think at least he's no Dennis Serkin now, simply put. So yeah, it's sort of it was. I think we allowed ourselves to be put under pressure at the back, and we just couldn't find a way of playing out, and we didn't seem to be willing or able to change that either. So yeah, definitely missed Luke, and I would imagine he'll be making the team on Saturday at Swansea.
Yeah, but for who? Who do you reckon? Is Ballard's going to get dropped, do you think? Or
I would think so, yeah. I mean, he looked like he was, I wouldn't say hobbling, but he looked like he was struggling a bit at the end of the Stoke game. And obviously he's just come back from injury, 2 games in quick succession. I don't see him being able to do 3 in 6 days or whatever. So, yeah, I would think it'd be Mepham and O'Nien at the back against Swansea.
yeah. And Robin, it's 1 win in 8, 6 draws, 1 defeat. We've scored 6 goals in 8 games. We've conceded 6 goals in 8 games. Is it time to get a little bit concerned, do you think, or not?
Yeah, that's it. I guess it is. I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed in the way we kind of set up sometimes. There's games where we've gone ahead, and my opinion, and I'm there to be shut down, but my opinion is we go ahead and then we tend to sit back and let teams come on to us. Earlier in the season, we were playing a high press, which seemed to be working. We seem to stop doing that. Like I said, we go ahead, and then to me, we seem to take the foot off the gas gas a little bit and invite teams onto us. We squandering a lot of chances. We've created a lot of chances, certainly in the last two games, and scored three goals in two games, which is not a good return for the chances that we've created. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned that we're not sticking the ball in the back of the net, and way too many draws to be pushing. We're still in a reasonable position, because the teams around us seem to be faltering as well. But we've certainly got to start and convert some of these draws into wins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the possession stats last night was 66% for us, 34 for them. We had 6 shots on target and 5 shots off target. Again, we had plenty of corners, but we didn't make anything of them. We've talked about this before. 8 corners, and then I don't know if you guys are interested in this. Expected goals, the XG was like 1.58. Justin, what do you make? What do you make of those stats?
I think I mean, there's damn lies and statistics, isn't there? But I think that the problem is that a lot of our shots are um, like longer distance efforts, or they're shots that are being blocked. I mean, like last night in the second half, they had like 6 or 7 people in the box, closing us down, and we just didn't really create space to get decent shots off. And that seems to be the problem. In the first half, as Robin said, we were flashing the ball across, and people were sort of lunging in, trying to get onto the ball, or we were just missing out on converting chances. Second half, we were having the shots, but too many of them were, after a slow period of play, allowing Bristol to get back and block us out, or they were from distance and just inaccurate. I mean, I think Chris Rigg put a couple well over the bar when he was well placed. And I think it's just, I think to Robin's point, I think the press was working early in the season. I think the problem we have at the moment is we have the same 11 players who've played almost all of the games, and they just look tired. Like Chris Rigg looks knackered, and I don't know what it is about Lebris, but we just don't seem to be making changes to the starting 11, or we get unlucky when someone like Tommy Watson's come on, he's done well, and then he gets injured, and we really struggled. I mean, Pat Roberts had a good game, but I think they kind of really knocked the stuffing out of us for sort of 15, 20 minutes yesterday. After that substitution, it took us a while to get back into the game.
Yeah, and you made a good point there. I think, like, technically, the way we're passing the ball around, and I think what I'm impressed with as well is like our first touch is very good. I think, like, in tight spaces, we're very good at receiving the ball and keeping the ball and then passing it around. It's just that final third, isn't it, Robin? That's costing us at the minute. We're not being clinical enough. In the middle of the pitch, and in the defense, we're all right. But it's just that when we get to that final third, it's that cutting edge, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes I don't think we get the ball into the final third quick enough. You said passing the ball about, there's some neat passing play, gets us up to the halfway line. There are opportunities to go forward, and we turn around and go backwards. So I don't know, what's changed. I think earlier in the season we weren't doing it. We're moving the ball much quicker into the final third of the field, but just don't seem to be as clinical as you say as we were.
Yeah.
Isidore up front on his own, is it time to maybe change things up a little bit and go two through the middle and have a go doing something different? I don't know who you'd play with him through the middle, whether Connolly would be the answer, or maybe Mayenda, give him a go. I'm not sure what the answer is.
Yeah, I mean, well, yesterday we struggled, didn't we, for the first 10 minutes? I think we didn't get the grips with the game. And then after that, we kind of like basically, yeah, we got to grips, started playing around. And then obviously that Tommy Watson injury, I think, because he had a couple of good runs, didn't he? And he had the beating of their fullback quite a few times.
No, definitely. I think.
And then that shot he had, I think if he's a couple of years older, I don't think he makes that shot. I think he was like very eager to take the shot. But I think if you're a couple of years older, you think that that's a bit of a risky challenge or risky shot to take because the guy's sliding in. I think a
Yeah,
more
he's on a high. He scored 2 goals
yeah,
in the previous game. He's keen, but as Justin said, I think that really unsettled us. It knocked the stuffing out of us, and it really did take us a good 10 or 15 minutes to settle down because we had a really good first 5 or 10 minutes. We looked slow.
yeah,
We then got into the game. You're right. Watson had a couple of good runs. I think Rig had a good run. There were a couple of balls fizzed across the box, and we looked like we were well on top. And then that really um, unsettled us. So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Justin, the injury. I mean, Labrie said it was like ankle and knee. For me, it just looked like one of those like sore ones, like an impact injury. You know, like where you just kick someone's shin. But I made a comment yesterday on Facebook and social media that the shin pads that they wear nowadays, these like flimsy little things. If he'd have had proper shin pads on, he probably wouldn't have like had the same impact, would he not?
Yeah, those ones you posted. My kid used to wear those sort of shin pads when she was 5, um, and hated them as well. So I mean, and Tommy Watson is one of the socks down tiny shin pad brigade. And yeah, it's I mean the fact he was able to walk off on his own steam hopefully doesn't mean that it's ligament damage. I mean, and you don't know which bit of his body was injured. Like you say, it could have been ankle, it could have been knee. Um, but yeah, the fact that he was able to walk around the pitch by himself hopefully means that it's just something that will need a rest. I mean, I doubt very much he'll be available on Saturday. But hopefully it won't be too much longer after that.
Yeah. And you mentioned before, Justin, Chris Rigg, he looks knackered. We saw this with Job last season, didn't we? That
Yeah,
if you just flog him and play him non-stop, he just becomes ineffective. And you can tell when a player's becoming ineffective because he makes daft challenges like the one he made yesterday, stretching to get a yellow card.
yeah.
The shot that he skied over the bar, I think if he's fresh, he whacks that in the back of the net.
There are a couple of times as well where he was making the same runs as our players as well, getting in their way. And it's
Yeah,
just that sort of decision making. I mean, I think the Watson injury, if you look at it back, Chris Rigg actually runs across in front of him and
yeah,
then
back
back
heels it.
heels it to him. If he just let it and Tommy Watson had got the shot away first time, it probably, I mean, would have been a different outcome. I don't think we would have scored necessarily, but I don't think Watson gets injured. And I'm not obviously blaming Chris Rigg for Tommy Watson getting injured, but there were a couple of occasions later on in the game where he was getting, I think him and Mayenda were getting in each other's way as well. And it's just that sort of, I guess, tired thinking as much
Mm.
as anything else. I think he just needs to take a game or two off. And but the problem is then who do we bring in his place? Like
yeah,
Salis
exactly.
Samad is rumored to be close to being available. Brown's still a good way off being available. We've tried Alexic. Obviously, I'm guessing aren't impressed with him because he's kind of just sat on the bench and done nothing. Obviously, Ashish came in yesterday, but that was more as like a wide player rather than a midfield player. So
Mm.
I think we have a couple of problems now. We have to replace Watson, and to be able to rotate the midfield, we have to find midfield that Labrie trusts to play the way that we play currently, or we have to change our formation, um, and try and come in it from that direction.
Yeah,
As a
Robin. Yeah, go on,
school of
Robin.
thought saying why not sit '09 in front of the back four? Um, because you mentioned before bringing the ball out of defence. Um, Again, it's an argument you can have both ways. Would you want to take him out of the back four? Is that an option? Sit him in front of the back four. Maybe give Neil a bit more freedom to go forward. Again,
Yeah,
just food for thought.
but my question is right against teams like Stoke and Bristol City, do we really need Dan Neil playing that deep? Could we not push him further forward and then play with the number 10 instead? Because like Stoke and Bristol City, they didn't really create anything, did they? Not really. They just like
No,
come for a draw. So it's like, could we not put like take Rig out, push Dan Neil up, and then put Ken Connolly or Sheesh as a number 10, and then do it like that? Because I don't think we need a defensive midfield because Dan Neil, he was good yesterday. He was tight in everything that he's done, but I think our defense is quite solid that I don't think we really need that protection anymore. I think maybe it's last season, the season before we did. But I think with Mepham, O'Nien, Hume, I think the defence is quite solid. And I don't think the extra protection offered by Dan Neil isn't vital, in my opinion, against teams like Stoke and Bristol. What do you think, Robin?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe step forward. It maybe begs the question. What we do. January's not that far away. Everybody's talking about we need strength up front, but do we need to strengthen the midfield as well? As Justin said, I think we're a bit struggling for options for people to replace the likes of Rig. And Rig, I think he's had a fantastic season. I'm loving the way he's developing, but a lot of criticism I saw on social media last night about his performance. But I think on the back of it, a lot of people have said what you said. He's looking tired. He probably needs a couple of games where he's sit him on the bench and bring him on for the last 20 minutes or something.
Exactly.
But no, I'm struggling for the answer. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Justin, obviously, like the second half, I thought, Bristol City came out with a different game plan, didn't they, second half? You could tell that in the first half, they were just sitting off. But in the second half, they started doing the high press and making us rush. And in the end, they got a goal, didn't they? It was like pinball, wasn't it? That goal in 62 minutes.
Yeah, they went to three at the back, and that allowed them to press us higher up. And we struggled to adapt once again. I think if there is a criticism of Reg Lebree, does seem to be slow to make adjustments to other teams' tactical changes, particularly at halftime. And yeah, it was just a mess, wasn't it? I mean, they broke. Patrick Roberts was in the left back position. Elise was kind of in Ballard's way in the middle, and it was just kind of throwing legs at it, hoping to get it clear, and then it was an unfortunate semi clearance from Elise that went straight to their player, who had all the time in the world to pick his spot and put it in the roof of the net. So yeah, didn't cover ourselves in glory on that one.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's talked in press conferences, and I've brought this up before, that he always talks about being proactive and not reactive, but he doesn't seem to be doing that, is he not, Robin? He just seems to
Well,
be making subs as soon as they score. He did it at Millwall, didn't he? When no, it wasn't again. Was it against Millwall? Oh, no, I can't remember who it was against. But he brought on Alshish and Connolly, didn't he? One time in one of the games
that
when they went a
again,
goal behind.
I guess that's part of the point I was making earlier on. The urgency seems to come when we go a goal behind. And we probably could have snuck it at the end. The great save by the keeper, that little back header from Ballard, who were very unlucky not to. I think we would have been unjust to go and win it 2-1, having played the way we played in the second half. But the urgency seems to come when we go behind, or we're at 0-0. We're a much better team, and then we concede a goal. And I've said in the past, I think we sit off a little bit. So I'm not sure, and it seems to have changed since earlier in the season, in my opinion. And again, it's only my opinion, but we don't seem as proactive as we were.
Yeah, Justin, do you think like Lebree's like maybe tactically he's all right, but man management he's very different than Mowbray. Mowbray was like kind of like put your arm around him, like grandfather type of figure. Lebree doesn't strike me as that type of person.
Well, I don't know. I mean, some of the players have said that they have good conversations with him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's more about the football than as a person. And obviously, his English is still not brilliant. But yeah, I mean, that you're a professional sportsman. It shouldn't make that much of a difference. I wouldn't have thought. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I don't think the spirit is there in the team. I mean, you see, I mean, obviously we've come back on a couple of occasions and got late equalizers or in the past winners. So I don't think there's any questioning the sort of the hunger of the team to pick themselves up and fight back. But as Robin said, it sometimes we go through these sort of lulls in the game, and we only seem to react to the opposition rather than there being sort of a leader on the team who picks the team up by the scruff of the neck and pulls them along with him. That's sort of what seems to be missing at the moment. It's just that sort of experience on the field, knowing when to push, when to take a break. Yeah, we just don't seem to have that at the moment.
Yeah.
Mm.
And anyway, Robin, moving on then to another point. Should we have had a penalty? Because if Adji Elise ran into the box and seemed to get a nudge.
Yeah.
But
There was a couple, I think, wasn't there? But yeah, the Elysea one, I thought it was a penalty. I thought he definitely got a nudge and kind of a semi-trip as well. It looked like. Some days it would have been given, but obviously we didn't get it last night. Could argue we went down a little bit easily, and I think the commentary I listened to and the game that I was watching, he grabbed hold of the ball as he went down as well. I
yeah,
think had he not done that, maybe the referee might have thought a little bit differently about it.
yeah. The commentators mentioned that, didn't they, as well?
Yeah.
Justin, I think anywhere else on the pitch, or if it's the other way around, it's the attacker on the defender. There's no hesitation from the ref. He gives that a foul, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the old classic line of I've seen them given. I mean, I think I think I saw I watched the highlights this morning again, and I think Frankie or Danny said that basically had it been far, it probably wouldn't have been overturned. But if the referee had given the penalty, it probably wouldn't have been overturned either. It's just kind of one of those split second decisions that we just didn't get the decision. I mean, to Robin's point, it looked like possibly a handball in the build up to it. It certainly hit him quite high up on his arm. And then there was definitely a straightening of the arm, which made it look like he was pushing him in the back as well. So to me, it looked like it probably would have been a penalty, but yeah, it's just one of those things, really. We don't seem to be getting those decisions at the moment either.
No, not at the moment. Right then, so on the 79th minute then, Adel Al-Shish and Aaron Connolly came onto the pitch. It was Chris Regan, who was it, Mayenda, who went off, I think?
Isidore, wasn't it?
Isidore, sorry, yes, that's right. And well, to be honest, I didn't even notice on the Aaron Connolly. I didn't even notice in the time he was on the pitch. But Al-Shish, to be fair to him, he didn't play in his normal position. He played in the left wing, but he did make things happen, didn't he, Robin?
Yeah, he did. He certainly livened things up a little bit. Um, and Connolly, again, I didn't see great impact from Connolly again. Not sure he's the answer. Um, but we went to, I don't know, again. Sheesh, yeah, he definitely livened things up a little bit.
But I think that's because like our play was coming down the wings, wasn't it, mainly? So if you're on the wing, you were going to get the ball no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think like Connolly just went up front and he just didn't get anything at all. But I mean, then again, he's being given like 11 minutes to make an impact. And I think when everything's happening down the wing, I think it's hard to get into the game in that position, I think. Um, but yeah, what else? Patrick Robertson, he got criticism, didn't he, after the Sheffield United game? He had a decent game against Stoke. He had a good game last night when he came on. Can we put this debate to bed, Justin, about like Patrick Robertson, his importance to the team? Because I think he's a player that he divides opinion. He hasn't scored many goals, fair enough, but I think he always looks like he can make something happen, and he's got that kind of never give up attitude.
Yeah, he's a trier for sure. I mean, I would say that on his days, he's our best attacker. It's unfortunate that on his day doesn't come as often most of us would like. I think the frustrating thing about him is when he's playing badly, he seems to want to come inside on his left foot all the time. And I mean, admittedly, our goal came from it because he came in field, spread it wide to our sheesh, and then picked the ball up on not quite a 1-2, but sort of followed it in. But I think better things happen when he's mixing it up and he is getting to the byline. The goals at Stoke came about from him getting to the byline and pulling the ball back for us. And I think adding that sort of the air of mystery, sort of the uncertainty in the fullbacks, not knowing what he's going to do, rather than just predictably always coming in field, is what makes him a special player. He's a great player on the ball. His shooting's pretty crap at the moment. His set pieces aren't that brilliant either. But yeah, he put in a good stint. And again, as you said early on, he was sick as well. So tip your cap to him, definitely.
Yeah. No, and on the corners and the set pieces, I mean, we saw like Rig taking them last night. Trey Hume was taking one as well.
It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall, isn't it? It's like see whether it sticks or not. Yeah, I think everybody was trying. It's our set pieces, and they've been chronic for years. And yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but whatever we're doing at the moment isn't really working. I mean, we're trying to find Cirkin at the back post was basically what seemed to work early on in the season. But then people got wise to that. We just have very little variation, and it's the quality of the ball in as much as anything else as well. It's just the quality just isn't there either.
Yeah. Yeah. Robin, what do you make of Elisa Mienda on the wing?
I thought he had a decent game last night. He certainly got some speed about him. A couple of times last night where the ball went over the top and he was away. Final product's not always there, but he gets into some good positions, and he certainly can give defenders a fright and give them a run for the money. But the final product sometimes, is not there. Tries to do too much sometimes, rather getting rid of the ball a little bit earlier. I think the same. I would say the same about Roberts as well. There's times where he, as Justin says, he's a brilliant player. He takes people on, beats them, but he seems to want to go back and beat them again rather than releasing the ball. And I think Mienda a little bit the same.
Yeah, Justin, do you think that Mienda lacks a bit of like self-belief? Because he's got all this pace, and we saw it last night at times where he just like burst past the player. And I was thinking, like, you've got the beating of him. Do it again. Keep on doing it.
That was the thing. I mean, he came on, he got their fullback booked.
Yellow carded, yeah.
Almost the first time he attacked him, you want him to do the same over and over again and put him under pressure. And he just didn't seem to want to do it after that. It was very strange. I had, to Robin's point, I mean, he's quick. He's not necessarily the most skillful player in the world. And he was trying. I would have liked to see him and Isidore like switch positions a couple of times just to kind of add a bit of movement to the attack. And I think that's something that we lack. We are sort of still very predictable in our sort of attacking setup. There's not that fluidity to it at the moment that perhaps there was earlier on in the season.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, that was that then. So we got the last minute equaliser. We could have nicked it, but we didn't. This Saturday, Robin, we've got Swansea away. Swansea are currently 9th and they're unbeaten the last 4, 2 draws and 2 wins. Before that, they had a 4-3 defeat at home to Leeds, which was a pretty exciting game. However, we haven't won against Swansea in our last 5 games. We've had 4 defeats and 1 draw, which was last season, I think. Oh, no, 2023, 0-0.
Yeah, so the stats don't bode too well, but
No.
yeah, but there's something about us away from home again. I think the stadium at the moment at home, it's very the atmosphere. I think again, I'm there to be shut down. The atmosphere seems very flat. Away from home, the fans certainly a lot more vociferous and get behind the team a lot more. So maybe that will spur us on a little bit. But you look at the games coming up, not just the Swansea game. I was looking earlier on. We've got Norwich, they've only lost 1 of the last 5. Blackburn have won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Stoke have lost the last 3. Sheffield United unbeaten in the last 6, and Portsmouth have only lost 1 in the last 6. So you look at the next 6 games that we've got coming up, and there's only really Stoke who are on a bad run of form.
Yeah.
They say there are no easy games in this division, but it's going to be a tough period over Christmas, which is going to always makes or breaks seasons. We're not going into it in the best of form. Certainly not playing. On paper, we haven't lost a lot of games, but we're not winning a lot of games. So it's going to be tough over the next 5 or 6 games.
It is. Right, Justin, we've got just a minute left. So very quickly, your prediction for Saturday.
I'm going to be vaguely optimistic and go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Robin?
I'm going to be even more optimistic and go sneak a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I'm with you, Robin. I think we can sneak a 1-0 win despite all this past previous matches that we haven't won in 5. Right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today, and I'll see you again soon. How are the lads?
How are the lads? Thanks for the invite.
Hello, Amanda. I'm 14 years old. I was born in Vitoria and I belong to the Bilbao Black Cats. I really enjoy going to Sunderland games because they're very exciting. I really like the new top because it shows some of the history from Sunderland. How were the lads?